Here we are with my old friend, colleague, Hall of Famer, Steve Flink, great writer of the last book coming out, already come out, on Pete Sampras. You can say, what is the exact title of this book, Steve?
It's called Pete Sampras, Greatness Revisited. So we're looking back, revisited, Greatness Revisited, a look back at Sampras's great career. And it came out on September 1st. So you're right, it hasn't been long.
Yeah, and we already introduced the book on both Ubi Tennis in Italian, in English. We put it on YouTube, our videos. So I hope it will help you to sell the deserved number of copies, which should be around few millions, no more than no less than that.
You were kind enough to buy 20,000 just for yourself.
Yeah,
so
I did. Yes, true. I cannot move anymore in the room because it's all full of. Listen, let's talk about the U.S. Open. The U.S. Open, which is quite closed. I mean, so no crowd, no public, but interesting anyway, because we were able to see some good matches, quite a few. And let's talk first about the men. And then we can also discuss a little bit the situation created by Mr. Djokovic and Mr. Pospisil. I know you usually don't.
What about Mr. Isner?
And Mr. Isner, I know. I know that you normally don't like too much to talk about politics, but I am going to push you to tell me your opinion about it. I have my one, and maybe will not coincide with yours, which should mean that one of the two maybe is right.
Absolutely. Well, I'm happy to discuss that with you. Absolutely.
Okay, so starting with the men, first of all, Mr. Djokovic, and now we are not talking about politics. He won 26 matches in a row this year. He hasn't lost one in the whole year, and is dominating his opponent. I mean, okay, he lost one set to Kylie Edmund, but then was always winning easily, both with Smur and then later with Struff.
Yeah, he's played well. Yeah, absolutely. And the set that he lost to Kyle Edmund was very well played by Kyle Edmund. There were no service breaks in the first set, and Edmund edged it out 7 points to 5 in the tiebreak. But there was never much doubt after that Djokovic was going to come back and win, because he physically, Edmund looked worn out by the late in the second set.
Yeah, and I am a bit surprised about the ability of Novak Djokovic to discuss all the politics and all. He has to answer about 10,000 questions about his association, and still is capable to concentrate and play very well. That's, I mean,
easy.
Queste sono le informazioni che ho trovato su internet.
So that is quite, quite strange, you know?
It is. It's a very difficult thing to do, Ubaldo, because you're nervous enough about when you play a major tournament, but to have the additional burden of the politics and the new association, he's handled it very well. He's had a few moments where he's been a little bit unhappy out there, but Novak, as you know, he likes to express himself on the court, so we can't really say that's all about the politics. He just he's a perfectionist, Ubaldo, right? So when he lost that set with Edmund, he wasn't happy, but boy, against Struff, he was almost perfect. 6-3, 6-3, 1.
I don't know if you agree, but I still consider him the great favorite of this tournament.
Oh, no doubt about it. No doubt about it. I'm totally in agreement.
First of all, in the round 4th, last 16, he has to play Carreno Busta. I don't see how he can lose. And then farther up, he may play the winner of Shapovalov, Goffin, and Shapovalov is quite lucky to be there, but is a difficult, can be a difficult opponent.
Yeah, he gave Djokovic a great match in that ATP Cup at the start of this year. Went to a final set tiebreak right before the Australian Open. So otherwise, Djokovic handled him easily in their other matches. But you're right. He's lucky. Shapovalov is lucky because he was 2-1 down against Fritz, down 5-2 in the fourth. Fritz served for the match at 5-3 and did not close him out. And Shapovalov went on to win in 5 sets. So you're right. But it'd be very interesting, Shapovalov and Goffin. Very close, I think. Maybe I would give Goffin a very slight edge. What about you?
I don't know. To be honest, I thought that Goffin could have lost to Krajinovic, who was in good shape, good form. Instead, Goffin won in 3 straight sets. So he's in good shape too. And he's experienced.
And he's so consistent, Ubaldo, from the back. So that it puts a lot of pressure on Shapovalov to come up with a lot of winners, to take a lot of chances. Maybe that works in Goffin's favor, maybe not. But I think that's why I lean toward him winning the match.
Yeah, maybe you're right. Shapovalov is a brilliant player, but sometimes too brilliant.
Right.
He has ups and downs.
Right. That's what they. Ubaldo, that's kind of what people tend to say about you and your broadcasting. Not up and down. Not up and down.
No, only ups. Only ups.
Okay, but anyway, yeah, I think we it's a good match though, don't you think? Either way, it's going to be
Yeah. And well, you know that there is, for the first time since 2001, there are 2 Australians in the last 16, because there is not only De Minaur, who today beat Khachanov, but to talk about the same half of the draw of Djokovic, Carreno Busta, Shapovalov, and Goffin, there is also Thompson, who has to play Coric. And Coric, he has been quite lucky to be there. You saw the match between him and Tsitsipas.
I did, Ubaldo, and I don't think we're going to see a more suspenseful, gripping match. The rest, I don't know if we can match it. 2-1 for Tsitsipas, up 2-1, 5-1, then has 6 match points in that 4 sets. Served for the match twice. Got to 40 love the second time he served for it. And eventually it goes to a tiebreak in the 5th after Tsitsipas had a service break lead again in the 5th set, and Coric beat him in the tiebreak, 7-4. What a gritty victory that was. But Ubaldo, Coric, and also very highly charged atmosphere. The players were shouting out to encourage themselves, but they were getting on each other's nerves. There was a lot of tension. Plus, Tsitsipas's father suddenly got up and went to the top of the stands when he was serving for the match. It was very strange. Left his seat, which was down very low above the court, and went up to the top.
Yeah, because Tsitsipas told him, you don't know anything, or something like that. Tsitsipas was quarreling with his father in a way.
Right, exactly. So that help, although when his father went to the top of the stands, that's when Tsitsipas got to 40 love, triple match point. He should have been fine. He had a 40 love lead. It was a strange match, but it did seem to me, Ubaldo, that Stefanos really got Borna Coric angry.
Yeah.
Coric not happy with him, and he raised his game tremendously in the 4th set after he looked like he was going to lose badly. And then he also fought hard in the 5th. He deserved the win in the end, don't you think?
Yeah. I think at the end, yes. Well, but deserve when someone has 6 match points. How can you say? I mean, it's difficult. I went to look through another book of yours, The Greatest Tennis Matches of All Time, because I thought that there was a chance that I could find the Vilas-Orantes match, the semi-final in Forest Hill 1975, because you may remember that Orantes was down 2 sets to love, then 2 sets to 1, 5-0, and love 40. And then he saved those 3 match points. Then he saved 2 more on Vilas, and he won the semi-final. And within less than 24 hours, he beat Connors 3 straight sets. So I I thought there was, but I found a small notice about that match.
Honorable mention. It got honorable mention. Yeah, I had to put it in there, but I didn't think it was worthy. As you said, I only had 30 really great matches in there. That you have to make some very tough choices, but that was a great match. There's no doubt about it, and it was one of. And for Orantes to come back the next day and destroy Connors, just destroy. When he got to bed about 2 a.m. after the Vilas match was remarkable.
Yeah, it's true that they played on a sort of clay, green clay. So Connors Connors had beaten Orantes 7 times out of 8, and he lost that match. But anyway, so I was thinking about that match because that the score was so similar to Tsitsipas,
Yeah, very right.
Yeah.
But I don't know. That was such an emotional match for Borna Coric to win, and physically he did an awful lot of running, and scrambling, and he was on the defense a lot, and it must have taken a lot out of him, and maybe Thompson can take advantage of that in the next round. I don't know, but I think Coric, I don't expect him to be at his best even after 1 day off.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. But Coric is pretty young, and he's quite.
That's true. But
he could be quite fit, even if he was one of the players who got the COVID.
True. He was.
After the dramatic Adria tour, I mean, organized by Djokovic. Look, then there is another match. Round 4, Davidovich Fokina versus Zverev. And Davidovich Fokina is a strange guy because he's Spanish, but he looks Russian. Blonde hair, he's always laughing, smiling. And I asked him yesterday some questions. And I said, you look different from every other Spanish. And he said, of course, my father is Russian.
That explains it. Yeah, but he's been one of the big surprises of the tournament. And as you know, Ubaldo, you can never really, it's very hard to predict how Zverev is going to play on any given day. He's been good enough so far. He keeps winning 4-set matches every round, but he hasn't been convincing either. Yeah. And so this match might be a little tricky for him. I hope for Zverev's sake that he serves well. I mean, I think if he has a great serving day, then he's okay, but he's prone to all these double faults and when he gets nervous. And this match could make him a little nervous. Yeah,
he has a very good first serve by a very poor second serve.
Right. He never makes up his mind. He never makes his second serve. He either hits it barely hits it at 70 miles an hour, or he goes for 135 miles an hour.
Yeah. He doesn't have rhythm. Anyway, also Zverev's father is Russian. Don't forget that.
Right. So that'll be a fun match. That'll be a fun match. And obviously the winner of that Zverev match will play the winner of the Coric-Thompson match. And then at the top, as you said, the winner, obviously Djokovic, a big favorite to beat Carina Busta, that then would play the winner of Goffin and Shapovalov. And that'll set up some nice quarterfinals.
Yeah. Let me say that probably the best match of the last 16 of the round 4 could be Beretini versus Rublev, because I saw Beretini, of course, in all his 3 matches. He never lost his serve. He won his serve 45 times in a row. He gave only 5 break points today to the Norwegian Ruud, who had beaten Beretini at Roland Garros last year in 3 straight sets. And today there was no match. Beretini was really in commanding position all the time. And
I appreciate all of what you said, and it's entirely accurate. I wouldn't question a word of it. I would only issue one warning. One warning. He's now going to have a much more dangerous opponent in Rublev. Would you not agree? I mean, that's a tough match.
A very tough match. Rublev beat another Italian today, 6-love, 6-4, 6-love, and there was no match.
Rublev and Ubaldo, he's also, don't you think Rublev, he will be the best have the best return by far of anybody Berettini's played so far. So I think that he'll test that serve more than the others.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
And then Rublev, in my opinion, has a good chance to win the points which will last longer because he moves very well. At the same time, Beretini has an incredible, powerful forehand. Really, if you give him especially a ball which is a little bit high, he smashes. He smashes.
Yeah, yeah. Oh no, it's great. A great shot. It's a great shot.
And, you know, they played 5 times. Berettini won 3. The first time they played, Rublev won in Wimbledon juniors, 14-12 in the 3rd. And then last year, Berettini won here in New York at the US Open in the quarters, exactly.
Right.
In the last 16, exactly the same round, because later on Berettini beat Monfils and then he lost in the semifinal to Nadal. So Rublev, and then he beat.
Okay, Ubaldo, a quick prediction. I'm not going to say which player is going to win that match, but I'm calling it. It's going to go 5 sets. It's 5 sets. Just have that feeling.
Yeah, could be. If it goes 5 sets, I still think that Berettini is more favorite because he's more consistent and he has a much more confidence. You know, Rublev plays very well, but he can play. He has ups and downs.
He does. He's an emotional guy too. Yeah, he shows his emotions very easily. So
yeah.
But I think they're both in very good form. Rublev is coming off, as you say, a very easy victory, and I think they'll push each other right down to the wire, in my opinion. And I would agree with you. In the end, if I had to pick one, I still go with Berettini.
Yeah, me too. So Rublev is the favorite.
Then Ubaldo, we have the American, right? But we must not ignore
Tiafoe and Medvedev. Yeah,
right.
And Tiafoe didn't expect to see him there, also because the first round he played versus Andrea Seppi, and he didn't persuade me. I didn't see him that great. Then instead,
wasn't.
Then he played much better against Millman.
But he still went 5 sets with Millman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Fucsovics,
that was good.
I mean, he beat him 3 straight sets. I think Medvedev anyway is better, and Medvedev is the favorite, in my opinion, to go to the semifinal over there.
Oh, he is. He's the clear favorite. I will say this: Medvedev has had a dream draw. The draw has been he could beat these people with blindfolded. He could beat these people with a patch over one eye and just see. But now at least Tiafoe can test him, Ubaldo, but not very hard to imagine over best of 5 that he can be consistent enough to stay with Medvedev. So I like Medvedev, but maybe this time Medvedev loses 1 set. I like Medvedev in 4 sets over Tiafoe.
No, I think he will win in 3.
All right. Well, then one of us will remind the other of who was wrong.
Okay. Of course, this is a part of our usual debate, no? Then we must. I am surprised about Pospisil, who, like Djokovic, is talking about politics every other day or every other minute, and then he never played so well at the U.S. Open. I mean,
absolutely.
He had a tough draw because, I mean, since the first round, Pospisil had to play Kekmanovic, who is not bad. Kohlschreiber, I think.
Kohlschreiber is right.
Then he beat Raonic, which I thought he was one of the favorites of the tournament.
I did too. And then he follows up today, and he beats Bautista Agut in 5 sets. Nobody thought that was going to happen.
Yeah.
Right? Nobody thought so. So he's had a great tournament. You're right, despite all the politics. And now he's going to play De Minaur, the Australian. That'll be a very good match.
Yeah. De Minaur has beaten Khachanov, who was in big troubles with the Italian Sinner in the first round. Sinner had dominated the first 2 sets, and then he was cramping all over the body, and still he was able to reach the final tiebreaker in the fifth set, then he lost. But Khachanov didn't impress me too much. And today the Minaur showed that he has more variety, because Khachanov is very powerful, but he doesn't have a big touch, a great touch. And the Minaur runs like a rabbit and picks up every ball. And
he does, but he'll be under some significant pressure against Pospisil, who's going to get to the net a lot. He's got great hands at the net, great feel at the net. That's what won him the match today against Bautista Agut. So I think he has a shot there. Maybe de Minaur is the slight favorite, but the way Pospisil's been playing, you wouldn't put the odds greatly against him.
Yeah, correct. Look, we should talk now about the women's draw. What do you think?
Well, wait, but before, you're right, but we also have to congratulate Felix Auger-Aliassime for making the fourth round.
Yeah, it's true. You're right.
And Ubaldo, you saw how well he played against Andy Murray, and then he won easily today too. He looks like he's playing some of the best tennis of his life. He's very gifted. He's a tall guy, 6 feet 4 inches tall, and very athletic and very good all-around game, I think, and he deserves it.
Aren't you surprised? I mean, it's not a new thing, because we are already talking about that since last year. But this Canadian coming up, Shapovalov, Aliassime, Pospisil he's not a kid, but he's coming up. Then last year we had Andreescu. I mean, why suddenly Canada, who didn't have big, strong players for ages, apart from Raonic, then suddenly develops incredible talents? It's strange. I find it strange.
Well, it is strange, and actually, obviously, it was Raonic we thought would be in Pospisil's place right now. I thought Raonic would not only beat Pospisil, I figured Raonic would also beat Bautista Agut as he has throughout their careers, and that maybe Raonic might, would come up against Medvedev in the semifinals. Instead, who knows? Very hard to predict who's going to come out of that section in the bottom.
Sure. Should we talk now about Djokovic and the politics, or the women's? Well, we go on with Djokovic.
We can talk about the politics first and then go to the women.
Yeah, okay. About politics, tell me what you think, because well, I have my own ideas. Someone is saying that the timing is wrong. Someone else say because of the COVID, because of Gaudenzi being only this year president of the ATP, and Calvelli and so on. So the timing is one issue, and then the fact that Federer and Nadal don't seem to approve, and that of course weakens a little bit the movement.
Well, here's what I think, Ubaldo. I listened to Djokovic. He spoke with ESPN last night after he won his third round match there against Struff, and he explained everything, and he was pretty convincing in the way he explained it, in the sense that, number one, it's not true that they don't want the women. They do. They want to join forces with the women. People were complaining about that. Secondly, people leave out the fact that Pospisil and Djokovic and Isner were all on the ATP board. Something had to, I don't think it can, it's not clear exactly what happened, but to have 3 people that were working on the board and devoting a lot of their time to helping the ATP decide that they're going to start this new Players Association tells you that something was not going right. Even if Federer and Nadal don't agree, something was not going right from within, because otherwise Djokovic could never have the support of Isner and Pospisil. So I feel like we're going to learn a lot more, but I think Djokovic is taking far too much criticism for this, because he needed the support of others, and he has it, and he appears to be approaching it the right way with getting all the signatures and getting lots of players and from men and women, and it doesn't seem to be selfish at all. He's he's talking about the doubles players down to 200, the singles players down to 500, and how much he wants to help them. So I believe that there's gonna be some interesting developments in the weeks ahead. But I think there's no good timing either, by the way. When would be a good time, Ubaldo? Nobody, for everybody to say it's bad timing because of the pandemic. I suppose he announced it at the end of the year. Nobody would like it then either. The people that are against it are going to be against it, period.
Well, I'm very glad to have heard all what you said, because believe it or not, I do agree.
Okay.
Because I do agree, because first of all, it's true that the ATP, the way the Pro Council, the way it is, it has been in the last years, has always seen the conflict between the tournament directors and and the players, and which have completely different interests, and so Djokovic is right to say when he says that every sport has its own association for the players, for just the players, because if look what's going on this year, tournaments like US Open, Rome, Paris, they want to organize the tournament even if they have no crowd, even if they don't have public. What that means? It means that the money that they make through the TV rights is enough to make them afford the expenses of the tournament. They prefer to have a tournament with no crowd, no selling tickets, and no selling stands, commercial stands and everything else, because still they survive and they make more money than what they lose, because if not, they wouldn't do it. So that means that actually the players get too much of a small percentage of the incomings of this tournament, of the slams. They take 10, 15%, maximum 20% of what the slams make, what the Master 1000 make. And that is not fair, because they are the one who do the show. If without the players, you wouldn't have that money, you wouldn't have the show. So, so this answer the question that the players are legitimate to ask more money. Second thing, I do agree with you about the timing, because when could have been a better timing than in a slam when there are about 200 or maybe 400 players between men and women, because you have to calculate the singles players and plus the doubles. There are almost 500 people all together in the same place. So, what would have changed is if instead of doing now, they would do it in Paris, or maybe at the Australian Open, when we don't even know if the Australian Open will be played, if the COVID will still be there, if the vax is there or not, and things like that. So they had to do it. And they have been discussing this since so many years. And
Ubaldo, let me interrupt just a second. Absolutely right. I just want to add a quick comment before you finish, that's what Djokovic said to James Blake during his interview last night. He reminded Blake that this has been talked about for a long, long time. He's finally doing it now, but there have been rumblings for a long, long time. And Blake did not disagree with Djokovic. So continue, Ubaldo. I just wanted to throw that in.
No, but you're right. So Djokovic is right. That's why. Plus, let's think. I mean, I've been tournament director of a small tournament many years ago, but I remember that even then, but now even more, the promoters, when you are on the side of the promoters, you care only about the top players, because the top players are those one who sell the tickets, who find a sponsor, so the tournament director wouldn't even like to have a doubles tournament. They would like to get rid of the doubles players, because they cost, you have to provide services, there is a hotel, the prize money, you know, and for a tournament director, the doubles is a problem. I mean, it helps only in the final days of a tournament when there is a poor scheduling, because there are maybe just the 2 semifinals and 1 final. So you need maybe doubles to fill up the empty spots. So what Djokovic is trying to do, and Pospisil and Isner, they are trying to provide jobs and a deeper basis for the players. And I'm surprised that Federer and Nadal didn't immediately understand that this is the goal. They seem to be more worried to give a sort of leadership to Djokovic in this issue.
I agree totally with that. That's the problem, is they're reacting emotionally from what I can see. If they just would look at the issues, they'd also realize that Djokovic is not approaching this in a self-centered way. This is not about him. It's about the players down to 500, and he's been clear about that, and it's about women players as well. Yes, yeah. I agree with you. I am surprised that Rafa and Roger, who are 2 very intelligent, reasonable people, that they're opposing him, and that they won't at least.
I think they didn't understand, and they were instinctively answering, "Oh no, we have to be united." I mean, he's not as Novak is saying. He's not looking for a conflict. He just wants a different group of people who will support the players who need to have a life, because only 150 people live with tennis, so the others don't.
Right. Well, Ubaldo, I think we're pretty much in accord on this. We seem
and we didn't discuss this thing before. We
did not. No, we did not. Absolutely not. In fact, I thought that you might be more on the Federer Nadal side, and I think you thought I might be. Neither one, because we'd never discussed it.
Yeah, true. You're right. Because I was expecting you more on the Federer Nadal, and I'm glad that you're not. Listen, so now that we have decided, we have said what we want, and I could anticipate one question that I would like to ask to Djokovic. Since maybe I will be able to ask it even before this things comes out, or maybe he doesn't see it immediately. But one question that I would love to ask to Djokovic would be, do you think that it would be easier for you to persuade that you're doing the right thing, talking to number 1, Andrea Gaudenzi, number 2, Roger Federer, number 3, Rafa Nadal? This will be my question. I'd like to know from Djokovic if he thinks that who of the 3 would understand better, easier what he's trying to do. And I don't know if he will answer. Maybe he will not answer, but he normally is very straight. He's not. He's a politician, but he's not so diplomatic. When he was asked, "What do you think? What is the difference for a tournament and for you that Federer and Nadal are not here?" He said, "For the tournament, a lot. For me, 0."
Yeah, exactly. No, I think it would be fascinating to see. I think probably it would be hard for him to answer that right now, but he would answer it soon enough. And it also seems to me, I hate to say this, Ubaldo, because Gaudenzi seems like a great guy, very sincere, but somehow I can't believe that Djokovic didn't give Gaudenzi a chance to make it clear that he would agree with their aims. He must not be prepared to go as far as Djokovic and Isner and Pospisil and many others, by the way. We don't even know the number of others that have signed so far, but there are many others that I think agree. And somehow I don't know whether Gaudenzi was able to convince them that he saw things their way. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I do agree, and I can tell you more. I know Gaudenzi since he was a kid. I was happy that he became president. I think he's a good guy and with a great preparation, but I was very disappointed by the fact that he decided not to come to United States when there was the Master 1000 played in the Cincinnati, New York, because I think that he should have come. I mean, the first tournament, the first Master 1000 in America, the president of the ATP cannot stay home in Europe. I know that.
Do you know what was that because of safety? Why did he not come?
I think so. I think so. So I can understand, because maybe his wife, maybe the children, maybe whatever. But still, when you have such a responsibility, I think he should have taken the. I mean, like the players are doing it. He could have done the gesture to reduce partially his salary, as many people have done, even if it was 5%, 10%, 12%, if he would have done it, he would have showed some empathy and sympathy to the player's situation. And in my opinion, in this case, again, I tell you, I'm a friend. I think, I mean, I cannot call him a good friend, but I know him forever. I know this family, and so I don't like to criticize him, but I think he deserves it.
Yeah, well, it does sound to me. I don't know the full story of why he didn't come, but it may be part of the reason why the players decided to move now, because they didn't think he was ready to meet them at this time to explain why they shouldn't do it. Yeah. It is surprising. I agree.
Yeah. Okay. Now that we can close this subject, we can maybe talk about the women.
Is the women playing at the U.S. Open?
Yeah. Well, 6 of the top 10. No.
Nah, I'm kidding.
Pliskova.
Yeah, Ubaldo, just to explain, I don't want the audience to misunderstand that. I just joking. I was only joking because we spend so much time on the men and the politics. We do need to talk about the women. They're having a good tournament.
They have a good tournament, but there are a lot of top players missing. 6 of the top 10 are quite a few.
Oh, absolutely.
Then Pliskova lost the first round, and she's lost 3 times in a row, showing a very bad form, and I would say also attitude, because she didn't give me the impression to fight hard as she could have done.
No, she didn't. She didn't. It's a strange thing, because I've seen her, when she decides she wants to fight, she can be one of the best competitors out there, but it's not consistent. She doesn't do it often enough, and she didn't impress me here either.
Yeah. And then, so let's see, from that upper half of the draw, we have, I can quickly resume, Brady, Kerber, Putintseva, Martic, Osaka, Kontaveit, Rogers, and Kvitova, no?
A good lineup, a very good lineup.
Yeah, it's a good lineup. I would say that maybe I didn't expect Putintseva and Rogers to be there.
Right, right.
Brady, you were, I remember, quite optimistic on her level.
I was, yeah.
Well, she took advantage of the upset that Garcia made on Pliskova, and she beat Garcia.
Yeah, and now she plays Kerber. That'll be a very hard-fought match, a very strategic match, and I think Brady has a decent chance. I almost put that as a coin flip. Kerber's more experienced, and usually when she gets this far, we know it, Ubaldo. She's won Wimbledon, she's won the Australian, she's won here. And so the deeper she gets into the draw, she starts believing she can go all the way. So that match with Brady may be the key to the whole thing. I think that if Kerber wins that match, I don't put it beyond her to win a second U.S. Open title. She's very dangerous.
Well, for sure, I think she's in my opinion, she's the favorite to reach the semifinal up there. Then we'll see. While in the other one is more balanced, I would say, because Osaka and Kvitova are, they are both players who won slams,
Right,
Osaka
right.
has to
But Kvitova, sorry, Ubaldo, I didn't mean to interrupt. Kvitova's been winning more comfortably. Osaka's had she's been winning in straight sets. Osaka's had 2 3-setters, and she's had a hard time. She has that problem with her left hamstring, so it's taped up. The upper left leg is taped up. She seems okay, though. She seems to be moving all right. She's just not playing that great yet. But I wonder whether maybe this 4th round match against Kontaveit, maybe this is when she turns it on, lifts her game. She'll need to.
See, even if the previous tournament against Kontaveit, she was losing, she had lost the first set.
Ubaldo?
Hello, can you hear me? You lost me? You cannot hear me?
Yeah, I hear you. I have you. I hear you.
Okay.
I hear you.
I was saying that even if in the last tournament, Kontaveit was up 1 set and 2-love with the point to go, game point to go 3-love versus Osaka. Then she lost completely her mood, and Osaka came back very brilliantly. But anyway.
Right.
So anyway, Osaka, okay, Kvitova, she had maybe, she didn't have easy players to beat, because Kvitova beat Begu, beat Pegula, Kozlova. So, I mean, I think she will win versus Rogers anyway.
I do too. She had a loss to her at the French, a crazy match at the French, lost to 6-love in the 3rd, but I don't think that's different. On the clay, I think on these courts, I would give, unless Kvitova has a bad serving day. If her serve is working well, I think she wins that match.
Yeah. And then what else? We have in the lower half.
Right.
Well, we should talk at least a few minutes about Serena Williams, because after I saw her...
Serena Williams is playing the U.S. Open?
I think so. She's.
You know what, Ubaldo? You know what? She's been better. We talked about coming into the tournament how every match, you mentioned it, and we both know every match she played in Kentucky and the Cincinnati at the U.S. Open, 3 sets, all of them 3-setters. Not very impressive. She's won a couple of straight setters here, and today she won from a set down against Sloane Stephens, and that was a nice comeback. I have to say, though, I thought Sloane did not compete very well. Once Serena got ahead in the 2nd set, Sloane looked like she was expecting to lose. And then Serena served very well the last set, and her ground game got much more consistent. But I'm still not convinced that she's playing that well. Are you?
No, I don't think she's playing that well. Stephens was not in great shape. She was the champion in 2017, but she hadn't won a match recently, and so everyone was.
She wasted that great start, Ubaldo. She played really smart tennis in the first set. She broke Serena a couple of times. She was much better from the baseline. She was pulling Serena out of position and hitting outright winners with ease. She looked like she had control of the match, but then I didn't think she fought that hard once Serena made her move in the 2nd set. And Serena, to her credit, was very poised and calm.
Yeah, and so Serena has to play versus Sakkari next round, and she lost a match against Sakkari recently, when she was up 7-5 and I think 5-3. And
that's right. That's right. And then also she was also up 4-1 in the tiebreaker the 2nd set. She could have ended it there also. And then she started to cramp in the 3rd set, and she got destroyed in the 3rd set. She'll be out she'll be out for revenge. On the other hand, Sakkari at least knows that she can beat her. I mean, that gives her confidence. That was at Cincinnati at the Open. That was just, a little more than a week ago. It hasn't been long. So she at least knows that she can stay with Serena and compete with her.
And I believe...
I still think Serena probably wins this time, but maybe 3 sets again.
Yeah, and I think that who will win between Sakkari and Williams will go probably to the semi-final, because honestly, even if Pironkova has been the revelation of the tournament, and then Cornet took advantage of the retirement of Madison Keys, who she stopped playing when Cornet was winning 7-6, 3-2. Well, I don't think that Pironkova or Cornet can beat either Sakkari, either Williams. Even if once in Wimbledon, I think Cornet beat Serena Williams.
Oh yeah, and actually she beat her 3 times that year. She had a lot of wins over Serena, but that's hard to see that happening right now. Yeah, Serena was going through a difficult period, and it was when she also had that weird episode in the doubles at Wimbledon when she came on the court with Venus. Do you remember that in 2014? Sure. She wasn't prepared to play. She was hitting serves that didn't even reach the net. Yeah, something was wrong with her. But I'm just saying, Cornet, I think she played her during a period where Serena was not really at the playing that well. I would expect if they met here, Serena would have the edge.
Yeah. Yeah, so we'll see. I believe that who wins between Sakkari and Williams a repeat probably will get to the semifinal.
I agree. And I have to say, I think it's going to be Serena. Even though I'm not convinced of her form, I don't think she's going to lose to Sakkari 2 times in a row. That's just my opinion.
You're probably right.
Yeah.
I was a bit surprised about the resurrection of Vika Azarenka in the 10 days, because she hadn't won a match since August 2019, and then suddenly she wins Cincinnati. Okay, she didn't play the final, but she probably was the favorite at that point. And then now she's beating everybody. She beat she destroyed Sabalenka. That was probably a complex of a Belarus playing against another Belarus. So maybe
could be, yeah. But no, Ubaldo, it's fascinating. Think about Azarenka. 2012 and 2013, both years, she was in the finals of the U.S. Open. She almost beat Serena the first time in 2012. She had her 5-3 in the third, serve for the match. And the next year, she took a set off her again. And those years, she also won the Australian both times, and she finished 2012 #1 in the world. A lot's happened to her since, but she seems to be coming back to that kind of form right now after, of course, she has a child now. But she finally seems to be looking like the old Vika, and maybe this is Vika. Maybe this is her chance.
Maybe the only 3 mothers have won a slam. Gulagong, and then Clijsters, and the third one. Who is the third one? Margaret Court, of course.
Yeah.
Of course. So there were nine mothers at this U.S. Open in the women's draw, but well, now Serena is one of them. Azarenka is another one.
Right.
And Pironkova.
And we have the potential. It wouldn't be that shocking if Serena and Azarenka met in the semifinals here, and then we would have a guarantee of at least one mother in the final.
Yeah, correct. Well, we'll see. Anyway, did we talk? I think we more or less spoke of everything.
I think so.
I think so. And well, let's talk again when? Before the quarters of finals, maybe?
Okay, sounds good.
We decide.
Okay, yeah.
When you miss me, you can call me.
Well, that would be tomorrow.
Listen, Steve, thanks a lot as usual. Thank you very much. As usual, it was a nice all the time to talk with you and listen to my old friend, Hall of Famer and colleague and writer of Pete Sampras. What? Say it.
Greatness Revisited.
Okay, fantastic.
Greatness Revisited.
Okay, ciao, Steve. Thanks a lot.
Ubaldo, thank you. I enjoyed it.